How are you?
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good,
Yeah,
good.
can everybody hear me? Hey,
Oh,
okay.
yep.
Hi. Okay, great. I'm doing fine on this cloudy day in New York.
It's crazy because South Africa is also the same. Like it's supposed to be in spring. We're supposed to be in spring, but it is so cold. It is freezing
Where are you
cold.
located right now?
I'm in Johannesburg. It is freezing cold for a spring for second day of spring. But yeah, global
Yeah.
warming is real. So what can we
Um,
do?
yeah, well, hey everybody who's tuning in to us right now. We just came in from Instagram, and so now we're doing our second half on Facebook. And so you guys can get to meet Onela, who is a designer, and she's a great person who started off her business in Milan. Am I correct? And then also came into
Yeah.
Africa. Yeah, okay, awesome, cool. So we can talk a little bit about that. She's going to give us maybe some tips or maybe some secrets on her techniques on how she creates her designs. And so, Onella, can you give us, I guess, another little small introduction for the people who haven't seen you yet? A little bit about yourself and how you came across making clothes and going into the fashion industry.
Well, how I came across to making clothes is, well, I would say it's in my DNA because my grandmother could sew and my great grandmother could sew. So I think growing up, having to watch my grandmother sew, I got interested in that, and I started making tiny little dresses for my dolls back in the day when I was about 8, and I remember how my family used to hide scissors away from me because I would cut up everything. So I would cut up even my clothes, and so that's basically my childhood background into getting into the love of wanting to get into fashion, and it became real as I got older. Obviously, I got the idea of how it really works, like to run the business of fashion, to be in the business of fashion, I mean. So immediately after high school, I knew what I wanted to do. I was never really one of those people like, what should I do? Like, I applied to design school. There's actually a school in Durban that I really, really wanted to go into, but I applied late. I couldn't get in on my first year. So I applied to a college instead of a university. And I was lucky enough to find out that the college that I applied to had a Milan campus, which was Styles Design College. We had a So that's how, like, I got to end up in Milan on my second year. Like,
Yeah.
on my second, yeah, towards the end of my second year, I became an exchange. It was not really an exchange. You sort of got you towards your end of your degree. You sort of get the opportunity to, if you are actually really good, and you write a proposal towards doing completing your design. I mean, your degree in Milan. So I did that, and they actually loved my designs at school. Like my lecturers were very supportive of me and my dreams. So I got to 2013. I got to go to Milan, and that was amazing. It was an amazing opportunity to actually complete my degree that side, to be in the
Yeah.
field of fashion where everything was so real. Was like Milan fashion is it's something like I've never seen anywhere else before. Like, I've actually been even into Paris, but it's not as live as Milanese love fashion. Those people, man, Italians love fashion. They, like, you even see old people dressed up, stylish. You get into these trams, these trade, and then you see how men loved to dress, how women loved to dress. It was an amazing time. It is an amazing experience to be part of that, to be there, to experience that. They have fashion night outs, and where there's fashion weeks, you see models everywhere in Italy. It's amazing. It was just amazing. I think it made it more real for me to be there at that time. And immediately when I finished my degree, I got an internship, a job with an Italian lady where I was sort of like an assistant. So I got to see how the business of fashion works. That's how I decided, you know what, I actually want to do my own thing. So I started the business that side um, right before coming to South Africa and actually doing it for real. Because in Milan, I didn't have that much of experience. It's when I came home to South Africa and actually got machines and got started with the actual running of a business, dealing with clients and running around buying of fabrics and doing the whole designs from scratch and meeting up clients. That became real when I came to South Africa back in I came back end of 2016. So I would say the business has been running here in South Africa from 2017. So yeah.
I mean, so 2017, so I guess that's about 3 or 4 years almost.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
actually been doing great. It's been pushing. It could be better. Yes,
right.
I don't even want to count. 2020 is cancelled to me, but
Hmm.
it's been working. Like because I couldn't do a lot of things that I actually love to do with fashion, like actually doing because I specialize in traditional African weddings, modern African styles, to couture. I mean, to street style. Right now, it's what's actually selling, and I actually enjoy it because it's how I dress every day. The street style of my business. But the love of fashion to me was into making those dresses for weddings, for traditional African weddings. That's where I saw myself that you know what, this is what I want to do. This is what I love to do. And it's been amazing ever since. So,
And
yeah.
I did see that you do have like a transition from, I guess, more, um, I guess, more high fashion, couture, wedding dresses, and then you do kind of transition into a more comfortable, more casual wear type of designs. And so, how did you kind of do that? How did you kind of switch into that transition, or what led you into that transition?
I think it was also a way of trying to balance and spreading the brand. You understand? Because street style you are able to wear it every day. You are able to get people to actually wear your brand every day, while couture and high fashion, it's mostly for special occasions, if I may say. Like it's weddings, it's red carpets, which I've been lucky to dress like a few of South African personalities for their SAFTAs events, like television awards and all of that, which is amazing. But it's not often that those events happen.
Mm-hmm.
Devon July, we have something called Devon July. It's an annual festival of horse racing, but it's more high fashion than the horses, the horse racing part of it. But that like I get to dress some TV personalities for those shows, and I mean for those events, and it's amazing. I love that. But
Right.
I needed a way to survive in business by selling things that people can wear every day. Because right now, because I business wise, you have to be logical about everything. So not that I don't love street style. I love it because that's what I'm saying is what I wear every day, and it can meet everyone halfway. It's unisex. It's both men and women. It
Right.
doesn't discriminate. So that's how I got to switch. It's not really a switch. It's like an in between, like trying to be a versatile
Yeah.
versatile, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we can pull up some of those designs, see your streetwear. Let's see if we can kind of pull those up really fast. Okay, so here we have, I guess the first picture is you, I mean, not you, but your design with your logo. I love that logo. I remember talking to you about it before. And you can see that it is more comfortable, more casual wear. And
Mm.
so, maybe we can just kind of scroll through a little bit. And then we can see your high fashion, more couture designs as well.
Yeah.
Let's go down just a little bit more. Okay, so this quote right here, fashion is not something that exists in dresses only. So I know that you were talking about how you wanted
Mm.
to expand into more
And blend
streetwear.
it with, yeah. Y- you know, when I've always I've seen that quote from Coco Chanel since I was in high school or college, and it made sense to me what she said, because I remember also being in Italy, seeing streetwear, street style, how fashionable these people are. Like it's also where the logo comes in, seeing that whole cycle of fashion happening, like live there, like during fashion weeks, during I mean, in a city where people actually embrace fashion like food, Italians. But it was just amazing. I think I was really inspired to actually say that to myself. I'll be able to meet it halfway, to not put my dressmaking aside, but to also be versatile to get everyone to wear the brand.
Right, definitely. Maybe we can scroll down and see a couple of more of those designs that we're talking about. Um, Scroll down a little bit more. Oh, yes, you're African. Okay, so the design that you have for the man right here, is this something that you also created? Do you also create designs for men as well?
Yeah, like for example, during when I'm designing for traditional African weddings, I often get I often get the I often get to design for almost everyone during, like, for the wedding, like the bridesmaids, the guys. So I'll do a whole lot of shirts for men, similar to this one
Yeah,
for, for the groomsmaids, yes, and then the bridesmaids, and so it's always both women and menswear.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, and
Yes.
this was actually my first fashion show that I did on my own in Johannesburg back in 2017.
Wow.
Just introducing my brand to the locals, and to the potential clients, obviously. But yeah, just to you see, I tried to do that whole African wedding thing, a man and a
Right,
woman together, yes, and that was inspired by an Ethiopian print. As you can see, that whole print is
right.
yeah, it's Ethiopian. So I fell in love with that print, and the colors together, they blended with the maroon. It's
And
actually
so what
maroon.
are, I'm sorry.
So yeah.
But what are you trying to express, I guess, through most of your designs? Like, what are you trying to say to the people who wear it, and what are you, I guess, like using your platform to speak about through your
Mm.
design? If you had a voice and you were able to, I guess, put words on your art, what would you be expressing, and what would you be saying?
I think it's mostly being proudly South African, proudly African, and also just embracing different personalities, because that's what I try to do with my streetwear, to try to get the young people to wear the brand, to be themselves, to express themselves in style, because what better way to say who you are with, but with an outfit, and
Right,
and especially if it's on your wedding day, what better way to say this is who I am, with a touch of your African culture, embraced
mm-hmm.
embraced in your dress, embraced in however way possible, to say who you are, because that's what, like, I think your identity right now, find your identity. Your identity
Yes.
right now is definitely what matters in this world. If you know who you are, then you are able to be yourself and live a much more beautiful life.
Right, definitely, definitely. And I love how you definitely trying to express the African heritage and also trying to have people more proud about their African heritage
Yeah.
as well. Definitely, I connect with that and I love that. So let's maybe we can scroll down a little bit more and kind of see more of that beautiful. I love this. I love this. This is beautiful.
Gosh,
This is amazing.
the bride
How did
looks
you, what, how did you,
gorgeous.
like, what did you envision when you created this?
She was she's Ndebele. It's one of the South African tribe. So that print is from Ndebele print. It's a Ndebele print from the Ndebele culture. So she wanted something with a touch of who she is, like we we're talking about. So and she mentioned, like for example, I would have an I would have a sit down with my clients and talk about how they're comfortable with the dress that I've designed and everything just before their day or event. So I know that she was very uncomfortable with showing her arms. So I was like, but don't hide everything. It's your day. Just look gorgeous. I remember saying that we were just going to make a cross around it so that you're comfortable, but also you're showing a bit of skin. And she fell in love with it, and she looked gorgeous, and she had that whole cape thing going on with the lace. She was
Yes.
amazing. She was amazing. I don't know if I have. I don't know if like it's probably far. I have a picture of her like during the wedding day, but she looked amazing. That was actually one her traditional wedding day. Usually, South Africans would have a traditional wedding day and a wedding and a white wedding, which is very odd, but that's what happened.
I can't, this is a wedding dress. I had no idea.
Yeah, she got married in that dress.
Wow.
traditional wedding, traditional wedding day.
Yeah, it's definitely not traditional, but it's beautiful though. I love that. I love it. I love it. So I did see that you're a little bit into meditation, and you are also do yoga as well, right?
Yes, I'm a yoga freak. I've been yoga. I've been doing yoga for quite a while. Yeah.
Uh,
I think
So, how do you use yoga and meditation to also help you with your work, also help you with your designs, keeping you inspired, keeping you uplifted? How do you use meditation and yoga to help you with your career?
I think because I live in such a very in a very busy city, Joburg is a jungle. It's more like New York. Like I would say it's the New York of Africa. That's how how chaotic it can be, but also beautiful because it drives you because it's a city where you are there to work, you are here to work, but at the same time that can it can clock your if you are always on the move and always um like I don't know how to put it exactly in words, but you need to find also a place where you can find your stillness and go back to who you are without the distraction of the city life, you know?
Right.
So I think yoga does that for me because the city can be distracting because I'm from the countryside. I'm from Tendani, like a sort of like a rural area where that's where I grew up, and I never thought I would come to Joburg because I was always so frightened of Johannesburg, like the big city. Like
Yeah.
if me even ending up in Milan in cities far away from home, it's just one of those things that you never know your strength until you actually you're actually tested to be part of something. So being in Joburg actually tested my mental strength because I never thought I could survive in a place so busy, so, what can I say? It's just like New York, like because I've been to New York and I've actually experienced how the city never sleeps. Joburg is just like that. So yoga and meditation kind of takes me back home. So it's my way of finding my stillness and being able to continue to dream and strive to achieve my dreams.
And I guess, so what are some of the techniques that you use? And then how did you even find your path into going into yoga and meditation? How did you find that, or what led you into that?
It was actually an invite. It was an invite when I was still back in Milan. This friend of mine, well, she was the daughter of the woman that I was working for in Italy. So she invited me to. She did a whole lot of things. She did ballet dancing. She did yoga. So she invited me to a couple of sessions where she was going to ballet classes and also yoga classes. So I joined in. I fell in love with it. I came back and then I started practicing on my own because now I couldn't go to classes anymore because I joined her with the classes when I was that side. And then when I came back to South Africa, I continued with the practice and I got better. I used to be so stiff and now I could do handstands. I could do
I
things that I never
saw.
I could do things that I never thought I could actually. Like it just shows how our bodies adapt to like well practice. I could say I should just say practice makes you better because I think my upper body strength used to be so weak. I couldn't do handstands. I couldn't like maybe for 2 years I couldn't. And then this year, I think even during the lockdown, my upper body became so strong because I was practicing. I had so much time. I had so much time with the whole pandemic to practice more and I became stronger. And that's the beauty of being consistent with something, even with fashion. When you are consistent, you are it's like you're bound to succeed in whatever you are consistent in whatever you keep practicing, you will be perfect in it eventually. Like even recently I was thinking, like I get a lot of people asking me, do you give yoga lessons? I'm like, maybe I should maybe I should, because
Yeah,
I was like, hey, maybe I could be able to manage my time eventually and give out yoga lessons because people want them, they're interested in them. So yeah. And I think in Joburg, you need a getaway in your head.
definitely. I agree. You need something to kind of center you and keep you at peace.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And so what keeps you motivated, or how do you stay inspired during the COVID and during the pandemic? Like how do you keep work going and all of those types of things?
To be honest, this year mentally is really it's really I'm sure it's very difficult for everyone. But because like I said, I have my yoga, I have my like my routines. I think routine sometimes will get you off being depressed a lot because this year was depressing. The pandemic, that whole thing of it being so real, like you like I remember the like after the whole lockdown, because when we started to actually go out with masks and seeing everyone with masks and the fact that there are so many restrictions, it can be depressing because you like this is now our new normal, the normal way. Like you have to adapt to the changes of the pandemic and everything else and staying safe. It can be really really depressing, but I've been trying to to center my mind and stay positive, focus on work. And even at the time where business was just not there anymore, because during the pandemic, everybody was, I mean, during the lockdown, everyone was locked up at home. No one could go outside. No one actually business was really affected. That can be depressing for especially a self-employed individual entrepreneur, because where you no longer have a stream of income. Like for 2 months it was like that, so that was terrible. But you have to find a way to be thankful for what you have, because during that time we heard a lot of stories, especially in South Africa, of people being evicted or people having no food during that time. You just have to find a way where you are positive about your own situation and be thankful and appreciate what you have, so yeah.
I'm sorry. Right. So yeah, if anybody has any questions, definitely come in on the comments and ask away. Oh, we do have a question. This is from Katie. Have you ever faced a roadblock when creating something new? If so, how do you address that designer's block? Oh yeah, we discussed this on on Instagram. So yeah.
Yeah, like you do get designer's block, obviously, because especially if you don't know what, like, for example, what to put in the table. Because right now, specifically, I work with one-on-one clients that come to me with specifics, for example, of what they want, which really helps me to actually go back to the designing board, my mood boards, and actually combine, like bring what the client wants to also bringing in a touch of my own creation to that. So that helps if your clients, they know what they want. It's sometimes it's very hard during that time where you have no idea what to design for a client. If your client knows what they want, it becomes very easy. It makes your life easier. But for me, what I do is that I always have my whole, as you can see, my whole mood board behind me going on, and I keep growing that into to go back to it and put inspiration, things that I'm interested in, like that. For example, like I was saying, like if I'm going over a magazine and I see some pens that I like, I'll quickly cut that out and put it there. And then one day I'll go back to it. I'm like, oh, I like how the pleats are done there. Maybe I could use this for my client and do this. Like, just to have your own touch in something that you've seen. It's always important to have your own inspiration mood board going on, to keep going back to it, to be re-inspired. And some people go out and find inspiration actually by being outdoors. But for me, it's mostly just going over fashion stories, what's trending, how I can have my own touch into what's going on in the fashion industry at the moment, just to keep to what's the word that I'm looking for, just to be on the to keep up with the trends. Yeah, so yeah.
Right. Right. Awesome. So, is there any more questions? If there's not any more questions, we will
I
be
like
moving
it.
on. Oh, we do have one more question for you. Do you ever get worried that your designs do not fit with current trends, or do you attempt to mold trends through your designs?
Well, I do mold trends to my designs, in the sense that, like I do try to put that whole modern African styles to what's happening right now, to the trends that are in, and to have my own touch. But most of the time, African print doesn't go with everything that's happening in the, like, with trends. So I try my best to, if I'm not using the whole print, just the touch of it, so that I could have my own personal touch to it without going all way off, or without being, because African print or African styles can be specific. They could be for a specific event or a specific time frame. So when you are working with trends, it's important to also be simple. For me, I always go for simple, because I believe that simple is classic.
Yeah, I agree.
If
Simple
you go
can
this,
go, and I think we're kind of breaking up a little bit. But let's see if we have any more questions coming.
yeah.
Oh, here we go. One more question. What is one trend you would use to describe yourself? What trend represents you best? This is from Katie.
Hmm. I like street style sweats, like sweatpants. Oh my god, it's so simple. It's not even fashionable, but if it describes me, I'm a very comfortable person when it comes to dressing up. I like being comfortable. So I believe that we can always make, you see how Kim Kardashian style, Kim Kardashian can look so stylish in sweatpants. That's me. Like I would like just bring in something to bring it down or to make it classy. Whether you wear sweatpants with a heel, but and then throw in a blazer, you're still comfortable but look chic. So I think that style is more me than dresses. I personally never wear dresses, but I design them a lot. But yeah.
Yes, and your recent we talked about your recent designs and your recent styles are a little bit more comfortable and I guess catered to more of what you like to wear now. If we can just
Yeah.
oh, we have another question. Um, how do you feel South African fashion has evolved through time?
Well, South African fashion still has a long way to go, to be honest. If I'm gonna compare it with Milan, from someone who lived in Italy for 4 years and coming back home to South Africa, I was like, "Where's the fashion? Where's the fashion? I don't see the fashion." People are so themselves like they're too casual, but that's not bad. But I think South African fashion still has a long way to go. Yes, we have the Mercedes Fashion Week that happens annually and seasonally, every season and all of that, but you don't see much of the hype towards it, unlike like other cities. Well, here or abroad, let me say abroad, because South Africa is still, I think it's still embracing. They do love fashion. They're very supportive of new styles, but I think they're still so. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it per se, but it still has a long way to go for it to get to that whole high fashion shows happening and fashion weeks being a thing.
Yeah, I mean they are coming a long way. I know Africa is we're a little bit more traditional with our
Yeah.
events. Yeah, so it's
Yes.
kind of hard to get that personality. So yeah, I can definitely relate and understand where you're coming from. We have another question here. It's what are some of your favorite colors to utilize when designing? This is from Find Your ID New York City. Hey.
Hey. Well, I love neutral colors. I've always been like I said, I love simplicity. So I love colors that are actually also neutral and toned and like your browns, your I do also use other bright colors. As you can see, my street style has yellow, has orange, has, because most of the times that's what people request, and I am game to giving people what they want. and it's not always about me when it comes to well, I want it to be about me, but at the same time it's about your clients. Like if a client, they ask me if you have an orange in that range, my quick answer is that I can make it happen, and I do make it happen. So yeah.
And let's see if we have any more questions. I think that, oh, we got another one. I got questions all day for you. Okay. Okay, let's see. Olivia here. What's your favorite aspect about being a self-employed designer? Yes. What is your favorite aspect about that?
It's probably having to get to work when I want. I'm joking, but I think it's more about being in control. I think I have a bit of of like, not a control freak. I don't want to say I'm a control freak, but I like being in control of my surroundings. Like I'm a bit OCD, so being an entrepreneur also, like it also makes that within. I don't know if it's clear. My vocab or grammar is not very good, but being self-employed, it gets me to have control over my life, and for me that's everything. The fact that I can get up in the morning and do my own thing without having to say yes ma'am to nobody. instead
Yes.
instead you say yes ma'am to me. I'm joking.
Yeah.
so,
I think
so
creating
I think that works.
and creating a schedule, able to get up, decide to get up in the morning is also nice, even though you may have
Yeah,
time
you
struggles.
have you have to show up. Like I said, consistency and showing up, it's part of the dream. Even if
Right.
you are doing, sometimes you're doing it in your own pace, but you're doing something you love, which doesn't feel like work. Like I think that's what answers that question, because it doesn't feel like work for me. Going to my workshop, it's like it's every day. It's like it's nothing to me, because I don't feel like I'm going to job. Maybe when I have to run around and get fabrics and compare fabrics, maybe that's tiring. But going to the studio and actually getting the work done, it's like this is my haven. This is where I should be, and that's important. I think if you're doing something you love, like I said, it's the best thing you could ever choose for yourself. Because you are at peace. you, you
Yeah.
fashion, you may not have that much money. If you are being honest, I don't expect to be a billionaire overnight, or to build an empire overnight, but who knows, I could get an investor who says, you know what, I see you, I want to put in money to your business, and I wouldn't say no to that. Build an empire where I could have OJ stores everywhere. That would be a dream. But even if I'm doing it small for a couple of years until I'm old enough to know I'm retiring, I would have been content. You understand? I think that's more than anything for me to be content with my life and what I'm doing. And I love fashion, so I wouldn't be doing anything else. Like I'll probably be so depressed doing anything else.
That's actually very beautiful because it's really hard for people to find their passion and actually to stick with it. Or even if they do know what they love, it's hard to actually go after it because the money is not always there, like you said. And
Hmm.
it's kind of scary. It's like you got to take this faith walk and believe
The
that
risk,
what you love
the
is
risk, yeah.
actually, work out for you at the end of the day. And so for as a designer and as an artist, you definitely have to continue to take a faith walk pretty much every day of your life. And it's
Hmm.
amazing that you found your passion at such a young age, and that you're continuously, doing that right now. So if you weren't doing design, and if you weren't in the um, fashion industry, would there be anything else that you would be really passionate about doing?
If I'm not in the fashion industry.
Yeah, if you had something, do you have another passion that you may have
Besides
that
yoga lessons, besides yoga, then I don't know. Maybe I'll be a yoga teacher. I don't know. I yeah, but because I've always been good at drawing. As you can see, I love sketching. Like I sketch a lot. So I've always maybe thought if I don't do design, I'll probably be. I love to paint as well. I have a couple of paintings in my house where I've done them myself in my spare time. It's like also part of, also a hobby that I love to do. So maybe I would have been a fine artist because I actually enjoy it. It's also one of those things that takes my mind off things where I'm just alone, and I'll just go get paint and just sit in my spare room and paint. So yeah, maybe I would have been an artist, maybe a struggling artist, but an artist. But yeah.
yeah, drawing is definitely a huge part of needing to be a designer. So it is, you do, I guess, have multiple gifts and multiple things that you kind of put into one, and tie it up into a nice
And
little
like
gift.
and they actually come together. For example, like drawing and sketching, it's something that I've always done since I was a kid. So it that's why I say that it was never difficult for me to actually decide that I'm going into fashion, because I used to have these sketchbooks, like and ever since I could remember, I had teachers who were so amazed, and I was still in middle school and early years of high school, where I had teachers who were just amazed with my designs. At that time, I was like, oh, I got this. I'm gonna do this. If people actually like this. So yeah, I was the type that didn't listen in class and actually was sketching the whole time. So, but I never got in trouble because they said, oh, this is actually beautiful.
You got to.
So yeah.
That's, that's always good. Okay, so we have one more question. We are going to be ending this segment soon, guys. So pile up those questions, and we are going to be answering them really fast. Okay, here's another question. This is from Nikki. Is there a current trend you aren't fond of?
I don't like. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, that's a hard question. I think I kind of like every trend that's kind of going on right now.
Like I'm trying to think. Like what am I not fond of? I'm sure there has been, though, because there has been, like I've watched like a lot of fashion shows of like that's not going, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like I know designers try so much to be creative, especially during runway shows and to introduce trends.
I think we're losing it.
Especially to what it is right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So do we have any other questions? And if not, we are going to be wrapping this segment up. Thank you, Onela, for joining us. This was amazing, and I loved all the advice that you gave. It was really great advice. And hopefully, in the future, you can design my wedding dress, because girl, I love your designs. I love your work. It looks amazing. And so, I plan on getting the ring on this finger pretty soon.
Yes.
Hint, hint to my future.
Girl, get that ring. Get that meal.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for having me. It was such a pleasure. It was an honor to be part of the show.
Yes, and it was fun, and hopefully we can have you again. We loved having you when you was with us for our fashion week, and now you're with us again for this interview. So we're gonna keep having you come back here, because your designs, your work is amazing, and you're gonna
definitely planning to come back that side soon.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you. I'm Jamila Yancey, your host with Find Your ID. This is Pink Talks that you are tuned into. And here we have Onela, who is our host. Who is not our host. I'm your host, who is our guest, our special guest today. Definitely follow her page, follow her on Instagram. She's amazing. Her design but definitely go check out more, because way more than I even showed you. So please check her page out. Thank you guys for tuning in to Pink Talks, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Okay.